Okay. Salutations, friends, and welcome to apparently what's going to be the month of sketchbooks. I did a sketchbook session for my last video. This video is going to be a sketchbook tour, and probably the next couple of videos are going to be art related or sketchbook-y themed. I've been in a really artsy mood, like doing painting and drawing and working in my sketchbooks. I've kind of started to fall back in love with it. I didn't do it for a long time, just due to mental health reasons, and like kind of fell out of it. And then I had all kinds of other endeavors that I was going through and doing and working on, and now I've sort of made it a point to make it a goal this year to work more in my sketchbooks. Yeah, my name is Eveline. I am an artiste, if you want to call me that. I do a lot of things. I paint, I draw, I sew, I sculpt. I'm really into fashion, all kinds of stuff. So, you know, I'm kind of a grab bag. But yeah, I know the sketchbook tours usually pull a little bit more audience than other people. So if you're interested in any of those things that I just listed, it might be a good idea for you to check out my channel and see if you like it enough to subscribe. You know, if you want to. It would be nice for me, for you, just nice all around. It's a win-win situation for everybody involved. This sketchbook is actually pretty old. I finished this back in 2021, and I never really did the tour because, well, I'm kind of forgot about it, but this sketchbook, a lot of it was done, one, in the pandemic, like the right at the beginning of the pandemic. This was the sketchbook that I was working in, so there's a lot of stuff from the initial quarantine back in 2020, and then I started it back in 2019 when I was in a relationship that ended up not being really the nicest relationship to be in. So there was a lot of sort of negative energy that I associated with this sketchbook in particular, and now I finally feel okay and comfortable to show it off and give you guys the tour. And here we have a guest. You just gonna hang out? Oh, okay. Make a decision. So to start, we have the cover. I don't usually paint the covers of my sketchbook, but this one I did for some reason. I am pretty sure that I used India ink for all of the black, and then just regular white acrylic paint. Oh, are you coming back down? The sketchbook is an artist handbook sketchbook. It's the same as my last two sketchbook tours. The same brand, same paper, it's just a different shape and size. I'm sorry if you can hear the munching and crunching in the background. That's Rufus. He is enjoying his food currently about 2 feet to the right of me. To start, we'll open it up and we have a nice little spooky, ghosty spread. These lyrics are from, I should probably, have my shit together and look that up. These lyrics are from the song Dearly Departed by Shaky Graves. I really like his music. Obviously, I was going through a little bit of a phase right here. It's something that you might notice throughout a lot of my sketchbooks is song lyrics and like music-based things. Music is a big part of my life. I'm a very like lyrically based and like visually based person, so when I hear lyrics that speak to me, they usually end up in my sketchbook somewhere. But yeah, just a bunch of little ghosties, a little haunted house. This is the best of my sketchbooks. This is the worst of my sketchbooks. This is what most of my sketchbooks are. It's just random crap dumped onto pages. Most of it's not finished at all, or like barely started little sketches. Yeah, here you can see I was planning to do a full piece on this page, and I just never did. Probably just really wasn't into it. And then another like mostly blank page with like random crap. This is actually a from life drawing that I did while I was sitting in my room. Obviously this was way back in May, so it was not the same room that I'm staying in now, and since then this particular room has flooded and been ripped apart and torn apart, and so it looks completely different. But I really like doing this sort of thing. I should probably do more of this sort of thing where I just sit and draw exactly what I'm seeing. Here we have another more finished piece, and then like some random sketches. This is referenced from a photo that I took while I was at Devil's Tower back in 2017, getting a little perspective on landscaping, and you know, I actually really like this. I think it's super cute. Little scarecrows, some grasshoppers, and then here, this is something that you will also see a lot in this sketchbook in particular, is tiny little sketches, and then a more finished piece of the same thing. It just, I think doing this really helps gauge like scale and proportion, and helps me get everything kind of where I want it and understand like the shapes that I need to put, and then it helps when I to translate up into this bigger scale. And this is from a photo that I took probably back in 2015 when I visited the Northern State Asylum in Cedar Woolley, Washington. It's a wonderful place. It's beautiful. It has a lot of incredible history, and if you like spooky, dark, decrepit places and you're in Washington or the Pacific Northwest, it's a pretty incredible place to visit. Here's more chicken scratches, just getting form. As you can see, another one of the instances where it's a little thing that's kind of shitty and then a more finished piece. This is referenced from the music video for Beck and Call by July Talk. Their music videos are always so incredibly visually interesting, and their music is amazing as well. So, but yeah, for a long time, all of their stuff that they posted, and for a long time, a lot of, or everything that they did was all in black and white, and so there was always just these incredibly stark contrasts and lights and shadows, and it's awesome. And this actually inspired later another piece. More Beck and Call music video references. Here I was playing around with just some gray pens and some ink that I had. These, again, lyrics showing up behind pieces. It's a regular thing for me. Here's an incredibly confusing and it also, I think, pretty funny and interesting spread. This was from a road trip that I went on with my friend Alex back in 2019. We went to, we drove down the Oregon coast and did a bunch of stuff while we were there. We went to like Ripley's, believe it or not, and like that kind of stuff, and Oregon Vortex. But this was the hotel room that we stayed in Florence. And then this we'll talk about because this is a very good look into my mind and my thoughts and how I think about things. I drew all of this, or I scratched all of this down while I was with Alex. We were having a conversation. I was explaining to them about the vortex and how it worked. So while I was talking, I had my sketchbook and my pencil in my hand, and when I'm talking about something that I want to be very concise and particular about, it helps if I can do stuff with my hands. So I was drawing and scratching all of these little things as I was talking about them, and it made total sense while I was having the conversation. Looking back now, this looks like the scrawlings of just a completely insane person. Here we have more doodles. This is just a whole page of doodles. I'm pretty sure I did this while I was in the middle of reading The Gold of the Gods. I don't know, it's a book from like the 70s about like aliens and old underground cave systems and stuff, but over here we have a Bigfoot, and then this was practice for a much larger piece. I will show a picture of it here if I can find it, but it turned into just a large India ink piece that I did, inspired initially by July Talk's Beck and Call and just the forms and shapes. But yeah, so this was just practice for that. And we have more random little doodles, more falling people, and then these, I am pretty sure I had probably just watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space, just by the vibes, especially by this little ray gun, I can tell. Either that or I was listening to a lot of Jonathan Colton and Ludo. More little doodles. I obviously was... God damn it, Rufus. was planning on a bigger piece that I never ended up doing. Here's another tiny gargoyle and then a larger gargoyle right next to him, practicing clawed feet and hands and shapes and stuff. And here's where I must have bought my tickets to go to the Camelin Medieval Fair in Carnation, Washington. This is more of that planning, some little messing around with India ink. I took one of these water brush pens and I filled it halfway with India ink and halfway with water, and I still use it to this day. It's so much fun to use because it gives you this gray, but it's not totally black, so you can do stuff like this where you add little people on it and add different shadows and all kinds of stuff. Here's more planning for the costume, and then this must have been when I got my Billy Martin art books. He has a very illustrative, cartoony style that he does, but a lot of it is very spooky, like not scary, but like darker sort of things and monsters and stuff. Like his one children's book that he wrote is about a boy and his bat. It's really fun and cute, but I have always wanted to do a comic strip of like monsters and Halloween themes and stuff, and so here I was sort of working on designing characters for that, scenes and the house that I wanted him in. This was going to be like the father figure, and here's like the son, and they're both vampires, and here's more of that sort of thumbnailing for that, and then designing the monsters that you would see in the house. So we've got a ghost. This was my sort of little self-insert, was a Edwardian ghost named Eveline who haunted everything, and then little goblins, fly, werewolf, a yeti, an ape-man DJ is what I call them. Here's a little doodle of a little goblin who is about to smash a plate, but somebody saw it and thought that the plate was its head and that its arms were like stuck somewhere like weirdly in it, and so I drew a version of that where it's like this weird demon whose arms are stuck under his own skin. So he turned into this. A little tunnel, which this is actually really cute. I kind of like that. And then this is a piece that I still want to do. This was inspired by, I was learning about the National Radio Quiet Zone in West Virginia, and this was sort of my research center that I came up with, and I would still like to do this. Here, I probably had just watched The Reanimator, working more, again, in that sort of illustrative, comic booky style. I think I still need to work on my figures quite a bit, but, like, this little fennec fox and these test tubes, the little fridge, I think these all look really nice, and I would love to go back and try to work in this style a little bit more. Here we have some hand studies, more costume design, and then these were... Hi. You need to really make up your mind about whether you want to be up on the windowsill or if you want to not be. And then these were some sketches that I did from when I went to a circus that came into my town. This guy, he was actually upside down. So his feet were up in the air and he was hanging upside down with a knife in his mouth, and he basically scaled a pole, hung like this, and then dropped, and he landed with maybe 6 inches between the hilt of the knife and the ground is where he stopped. It was awesome. I love acrobats. It's incredible. This was a design for a tattoo that somebody was going to commission to me, and I got pretty far into the process of it, and then he bailed out, so, that's fun. Just some journaling, that doesn't matter anymore. Sleeves. Here's sketches from the actual medieval fair. So here's one of the ladies was a musician. This guy was a comedian and a magician, and he was awesome. I love this guy. He had little like Coke bottle glasses, I remember. He was so cool and so fun. Here's the costume that I designed for my ex-boyfriend. And here is a little dude. This actually also turned into a bigger piece. I will put that here. There it is. There we have just like a whole ass blank page because, you know. And here is Inktober. I've never been good at drawing challenges like this. I've never done a single one all the way through. This one, this is pretty much it that I got done for it. So, you know, I started planning things and didn't actually follow through with any of them. I do really enjoy these two sketches right here, and I think this could be a really cool piece if it was done properly. But yeah, that's as far as I got in Inktober 2019. That was it. Here's more from October. Little notes, things I was gonna do. I remember I had a really rough October that year. Here's some commission sketches. They got turned into some pet portraits. Here's trying to draw anatomy and people, and my bodies always are so stiff, and I really need to work on my form better. Sometimes I can get it and it works really well, and then other times we have stuff like this and it just doesn't work. Here's a good example of it. This one was it was so stiff, and I fuck this garbage, what is this? And then I did this little one, and it was much better. And I do think this looks actually nice, like comparatively to my other things. This was designed for a project that never came to be. Here's a design for a dress that I actually did make. I don't have any pictures of it, but I ended up donating it to the thrift store because I didn't like it anymore, and I regret it because I really like that fabric and I could have done something with it. And here is where COVID came into the picture. This is right at the start of the pandemic. This was either right before or right after the start of quarantine, but here I was journaling about my feelings about it and then designing a dress. This turned into this dress, and actually there is a video on my channel of me making it if you are interested. There's probably going to be a video for a lot of things for the rest of this. Here's some doodles, little robots, my little rocket ship. This is my little logo. That's on everything that I do. A little self-portrait. Another blank page. Here's some outfit designs. I was in a very cottagecore place. I think everybody was in a pretty cottagecore place at that time. Here's a little graphite study of the view from my porch. Some girls holding pumpkins in front of their head. I found this on Pinterest. This was my dog. He unfortunately is no longer with us, but he was sunbathing, and he always sunbathed. He always laid right in the sun, and it was so cute. And then here's a little design for a piece that I wanted to do. I might actually revisit this sort of concept eventually. I'll probably revisit a lot of these concepts. Here's some thumbnail sketching for these Halloween paintings that I did. These are also a video on my channel if you're interested. And a sticker from my ex Mondo packaging. Here is a drawing of Mark Pellegrino. He played Lucifer in Supernatural. He's kind of one of my go-tos that go back to, I have some various like celebrities that I will tend to go back and draw and redraw over and over again, just because I like either their pictures, or I think I like their form, or they're just easy for me to sort of draw and grasp onto. But here's more song lyrics. Here's another song lyric situation. This was All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix. This is Thrash Unreal by Against Me, and some girls dancing. I was aiming for different body shapes, and unfortunately my anatomy is just not great. I think this sort of form turned out pretty well, but the rest of them are, like, everything is so stiff, and, like, their arms are weirdly long and, like, thick, and, like, they just, their bodies don't look like bodies, you know? It's not, I don't like this. Here's a self-portrait from when I did Liberty Spikes. That's also a video on my channel if you're interested in seeing me put my hair in Liberty Spikes. More of that packaging. This, I just really liked the colors of this. This I did in a video. You can find it on my channel. This was a thumbnail for my giant piece that I did in 2020 on the 5 foot by 3 foot canvas of the UFO that turned into this. It is a video. I do have a video of me painting it on this channel again, and then this also turned into painting. Hi. I'm trying to work, bud. They can't see anything if you're standing there. I was designing a little coffin trinket box for my friend for their birthday. This was a playing card design. Oh, here's another self-portrait. I did a little meet the artist thing apparently that never got posted anywhere, but let's see. Age 23. I'm not 23 anymore. Tall. I am still tall. Likes old things. I like old things. Punk fashion. I like punk fashion, vintage fashion. That one stays. Horror movies, morning tea, my precious cat, Mr. Oh, there's a little drawing of him. That's cute. Yeah, all of these things still stand. Here's a demon lady trying to pull her horns off, and then some little tiny sketches of Baphomet, apparently. I mean, I don't know where that came from. This literally was just a sticker from the packaging from a tombstone I bought from Spirit Halloween. Here's a sad clown girl. You'll be able to, if you look closely, you can tell that the facial features look very similar to my own, because I too am a sad clown girl. This was done on my channel. Here's some stamps. I must have just got new stamps. And then a little dude, fun little guy in the woods. This must have been right when Corpse Husband got super popular, like when all of his stuff sort of blew up, and I think his Among Us playthroughs really blew up at the time. But this was all done with some water-based, just cheap markers that I have. I really liked his like half and half sort of design, so I want to do my own spin on it. So I have a pink version of Frank, and then we have this. This is, to this day, one of my favorite pieces. I absolutely love this piece, and like the little flippy bit, and his eyes I love, and just, I think it turned out really, really well. So this was right at the end of Unus Annus. This was a plan for, I wanted to do sort of a dual sort of thing of them with their skin kind of melting off and whatnot. I still might do that just because I think the concept is really cool. But yeah, here was some practicing for that. We have poor Ethan with his face just kind of melting. Some very angry poetry and like shirt designs. This ended up turning into a thank you stamp, and I was drawing it on my like boxes for my shipments for a long time, and then just random stuff. I still would like to turn these into t-shirts and stickers and stuff. Here it is. This is my Unus Annus spread. This is probably one of my favorite spreads in all of my sketchbooks. Just the collection of all of the random screenshots and screen caps from their videos. Yeah, so this one in particular of Ethan with an absurd amount of hot dogs in his mouth. This image is forever burned in my brain, and I will never forget that video, particularly that one spot. And honestly, this is my favorite drawing ever. This is it. This is the peak of my art. So here's working out sketches for business cards and stuff. And these were for my Christmas cards from 2020. they turned out like this. There's a video of me painting them on the channel. This I also put in a video. This I also put in a video. This was designed for a hutch that I had at the time, but it never ended up happening because I ended up moving out of state and I didn't take the hutch with me. More fashion stuff. This is the only page that I've really constantly returned back to. When I made this page, I think I had sold 2 or 3 things, like months and months spread apart, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a map and mark everything. So I had like Washington, Oregon, and I think I had like Texas marked off, and those were the 3 states that I had marked off for the longest time. And then in August of 2022, I started selling these little roses, and they popped off, and now I went from only having 3 states filled out to now I only have 7 states left to fill out, and I'm just seeing this makes me so incredibly happy. And like I have art in all of these places, and Wales and Saudi Arabia. Like, all of these places have a piece of me is in all of these places, and it's incredible. So we're aiming for the rest of the 7, but you know, the link for my shop is always in the description. Here's some swatches for a mural that I did while I was in Idaho. Some spooky doodles and drawings. This was a design for a large square canvas that I have. Still need to get around to doing that. Here's a little Franken dude. I really like this guy. I think he's super cute. Designs for coasters, but that never ended up happening because I really just didn't like them. Here's where I had just bought my trailer and I was renovating all of it. So this actually, for the most part, happened. I got all of this done and did this. I completely renovated the trailer, and yeah, I wasn't able to keep it or stay in it. I ended up moving back to Washington, and I had to sell the trailer because of health issues at the time. But yeah, this was a good time in my life. This was amazing and fun, and just incredible, you know? Cosplays that I wanted to do. More trailer stuff, the bathroom design, studio design. And here's where the Bo Burnham stuff starts. This was right when Inside came out, and I was obsessed with it. I watched that special for probably 2 weeks straight, and I watched it multiple times a day. It was a time in my life. But that was also when I had gotten, it was probably about when I had started to get, my health started to kind of go downhill. So, but yeah, more studio designs. Here's a whole spread of Bo Burnham. Again, I'm a very visual person, and visually, that special was just absolutely incredible. So, like, yeah, these just studies, colors, light, you know. Here's the thing that you will see in a lot of my sketchbooks is just patterns that are just very repetitive patterns colored in, and I do this a lot when I'm stressed or going through a hard time. It's something that I can do that is easy and repetitive. It takes me a long time to do it. I have to focus on it. It uses my hands and my mind and everything, and I'll just put on music or a movie and I will just sit in for an hour or 2 straight, just do this kind of things, whether it be checkers, stripes, circles, all of these kind of things. And I'll go in with the black and sometimes the color. Here I used colored pencil and some cheap water-based pens that I had. But yeah, this is a thing that I do regularly when I'm not doing well mentally or when I'm having really bad anxiety. So you'll see this quite a bit. Here's some studies, just quick little sketches from when we were watching. My family, my mom and my brothers and I will get together and watch UFC fights. So here I was like, I decided that I was going to just practice drawing figures and people interacting. And yeah, this guy, I remember this guy because I loved his nose. It looked like somebody had like taken a lump of Play-Doh and just stuck it onto somebody's face. Like, his nose was just completely busted. Yeah. Designs for a mural that never ended up happening. Here, these were some crows that I was feeding at my old place of work. Here's when I got my Crayola marker sets and pencil sets. This was when they released their Colors of the World sets. So I got the markers and I got the pencils because those were going to be the most useful to me, and I still use these regularly for things. They're really nice. They're awesome. Oh, here's the original sketch for a t-shirt design for my brother's band at the time. Some Bucky Barnes. He's another one of my go-to sort of characters that I draw when I want to practice using supplies or whatever, so I drew him to sort of practice with the skin tone sets. Here's more of the drum face t-shirt design, and these were for Demolition Derby t-shirts that I ended up selling. Here's the initial sketch of my little roses all the way back in 2020, and now they are a staple in my shop, and it's awesome. And then there's more weird plants and stuff. More t-shirt designs, sketches of little people. This was at a t-ball game from my cousins. I was drawing the little kids and people with their, here's one of the dads. You know, you can tell because he's got that dad stance with his like hand on his hip and his little baseball cap. This was a lino stamp that I carved of my logo. Here is 100 Days for Halloween Happy Sam. She does a photo challenge on Instagram every year of a 100-day countdown to Halloween, and I decided this year that instead of doing the photos, I wanted to do little drawings. And I think if I had stuck to doing this sort of grid thing where I was just doing these little thumbnail sketches instead of trying to turn them into bigger things, I probably could have got this done. But, yeah, I didn't, and so I only ended up doing these 7 and stopping. More T-ball stuff, and then here's more of that, stress drawing. So, stress relief drawing, I should say. And here is the design for this guy. There is a video of me making that on this channel as well. And the last page in this book is David from The Lost Boys, a little graphite portrait with ink backing. So, yeah, I love The Lost Boys, one of my favorite horror movies. Love David, amazing. I went as him for Halloween for 2021. So, yep. And then a blank page. And a blank page and just some gel pen swatches. And then this is a little treat for me. What is it? That is phone numbers. That is some personal phone numbers for people that I will not be showing on camera. But yeah, that's it. That's the sketchbook. I will be doing a tour of my current sketchbook. I'm about halfway through it, and I just finished out the year in it, and so I am going to go ahead and show you that half because it's a larger sketchbook, and so I think I'm going to have to break it up into 2 separate videos anyway. I'm not sure if that's going to be next week's video or if it's going to be spaced out a little bit. We'll see, but yeah, so keep an eye out for that to see what I'm currently been working on. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to give it a like, and if you want to stick around and see more of me, more of my art, more of the random crafts and hobbies that I do, feel free to subscribe. I would love to have you. I'm a very small channel. I don't have very many subscribers, so I'm pretty hard to find, so it would just be easier for both of us if you subscribed, and then I could just show up in your inbox every week. And yeah, like I said in my last video, I do fully intend on posting a video every single week this year. That is my biggest resolution. So yeah, hopefully I will keep up with that. I'm saying it confidently. I will post a video every week. Anyway, I love you. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to wash your hands. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.